Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to my May favorites. I'm sorry, but whose mind is blown that May is basically over already? Mine. I don't know if I'm the only one, but holy cow, this month went by so fast. I have so many things to talk about. I almost don't even know where to begin. But I have a lot of things in my favorites, so maybe grab something to drink or eat or a comfy chair because we're probably going to be here for a little bit. But I just want to jump right into all my favorites. If you are new to my monthly favorites videos, I like to talk about a broad range of things. I'm going to be talking about YouTube, books, decks, crystals, magic, miscellaneous kind of stuff, memories, and I'm also going to be talking about my card of the month. That is new this month. But I have lots of things to share, so let's go. So first I want to talk about YouTube. So there's a few things I want to highlight here in my monthly favorites. The first thing, and I am so over the moon about this, if you haven't seen it yet, myself, Dustin at ModernMetaphysicMan, and Dani of Dani Mystic, and I will have their individual channels linked below, have started a collab channel called 3 Fat Readers. We are so stoked about this. We're going to try to put out a fun collab video about once a month, talk about tarot and whatever other topic we are rolling into that, and we're just really excited. So check it out. I will link our first video up in the cards, and in the first one we are talking Game of Thrones, and we do spend a fair amount chatting before we get into spoilers, so even if you're still not caught up, which, why are you still not caught up? You can still enjoy a bunch of the tarot chat and that sort of thing before we get into all of the spoilery goodness. So that was so much fun. I cannot wait for our next one. Also coming up, just because I'm thinking about collaborations, is Tarothon. This is a 24-hour 10 a.m. UK time to 10 a.m. UK time, Sunday, June 2nd. I just don't want to get the dates wrong, but it's Sunday, June 2nd to Monday, June 3rd. I will be on at 2 p.m. my time, which is Pacific time, and that's going to be really fun. It's going to be back-to-back live chats for the full 24 hours, all tarot related, super fun. Check it out. I will put a link to Simon at the Hermit's Cave channel down below where he has the full itinerary listed out on a video. So I'll put that video link as well. But that was a promo thing. Sorry, but back to favorites. So 3 Fat Readers, total favorite. Another favorite was my friend Erika at Raw Spirit had a really fantastic video interview with Susan Chang, who is the author of Tarot Correspondences. Susan Chang also led a workshop on tarot and magic at Northwest Tarot Symposium this year that was phenomenal and is to date definitely one of the most fun things I think I've ever done, and just lots of mind-blowing moments. It was really great, and watching them chat together was amazing. So I will also link that video. And then my sister Jen of Jen's Balanced Tarot was also interviewed on Simon at the Hermit's Cave channel, and I will link that up in the cards or down below as well. So there was a lot of really fun things happening on YouTube this month. I think there was something else too. Nope. I have to have a list, you guys, because I have squirrel brain and I can't hold information that long. But let's talk about crystals. So actually, my crystals are kind of not crystals, but also crystals. Because rather than like crystals that I hold and play with, my 2 favorites this month that I have been working with a lot is this really beautiful Chakra, I can't talk, you guys, Chakra tree pendant that Peggy got me at the gem show that we went to in, was that March? God, this year is going by so fast. Anyway, it's got all these different little stones on it, and I just love that it's got the energy of all 7 chakras. I think it's really beautiful, and I wear it on one of these macrame cords, which has little plastic beads and is all macrame because I am really allergic to most metals, and this I can wear, so I can string that on there. And then the other thing that came in actually in May that blew me away is this really beautiful mala. This was sent by the Witch's Moon in the Adorned Goddess box for May. I will link my unboxing of that in the cards. If you've been watching my videos for the last few weeks, you have seen me wearing this and fidgeting with it and playing with it. I love this mala. They called it, I believe, in the box an intention necklace, but it has an amethyst guru bead here, and then on each side it has 4 freshwater pearls, more amethyst, 2 more freshwater pearls, more amethyst. This is all rose quartz. And then we get to another, I think it's like 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think it's like 10 on each side. More freshwater pearls, and then the rest is still rose quartz. This is a knotted mala. Now, up in Canada, a mala of this quality, hand knotted, would probably cost me about $125 Canadian. Yeah. And it came in my Witch's Moon box. And I'm constantly wearing it and playing with it, and I freaking love it. I have several times now done, this has got I think it's 108 beads. I'm having a mind, what do you call that? I'm drawing a blank. But I have used my I am worthy and unafraid mantra with this several times, and it's been really lovely. I'm a very tactile person, and this is both a sound thing, like beads just make a sound that's really lovely, and also a texture thing, so I'm constantly petting it and playing with it, and I love it. It's just wonderful. So those I'm going to list as my 2 favorite like crystals of the month, because these I've been playing with more than anything else. And then when we get into what's next, let's see. Magic. Oh, I don't know if I want to do this category next. Yes, I do. So I am finally making some really steady progress on my book. I feel like I broke past the last barrier or block, and I'll talk more about how that happened later on because it'll be relevant to other things I'm going to talk about. Sorry, I'm all like secret, but surprises are fun, right? So 2 things that I want to talk about in the magic category that have totally helped me, even though they're not all that magical as physical things, are, first of all, this lovely, beautiful device right here. So I've told some individual friends about this and could not, like, I couldn't deal with not showing it off. This is called a Neo 2. They don't make these anymore. This is a word processor, basically. It's the kind of thing that was used in school for kids' typing classes and stuff. I think this model stopped getting made in 2010, so it's not new, but it is amazing. It runs on like AAA batteries. I actually got this one off of eBay used, but it came in like this perfect condition. They'd even put fresh batteries in it and put one of those little plastic tabby things so that the batteries stayed fresh until I pulled the tabby out. I've been doing so much writing on this, and what's amazing about this is kind of like with a manual typewriter, I can write wherever I want. So I don't have a distraction like laptop or tablet in front of me or something that's going to suck me into the intertubes. This is internet free. It is just a writing device, and it has these like little buttons at the top. So it says like file 1, 2, 3 all the way across, and each one of those files can hold, I think, around 8,000 to 10,000 words. So what I've been doing is like working on each section at a time. So like if I'm changing sections, I'll move to a new file just so everything's kind of compartmentalized a little bit. I've also been using, actually, semi-related, the last couple files, so file 7 and file 8 is where I've been logging my notes about the cards that I work with throughout. Oh, it opened on me. Oh no, it didn't. It's just telling me two button on is enabled. But the last 2 are where I keep track of my thoughts on my full moon card that I work with, the goddess card I work with, and I work with 2 dark moon cards in my spiritual practice. More on that later because I'm probably going to make a whole video about that. But this is great. When I'm all done typing and when I'm ready to transfer this information to my computer, I just use a printer style cable. There's a little port on the back and it's just a USB. I plug it into my laptop, I open up a Word document or a Google Doc or whatever, and I hit this pretty little send button right there, and it will send, like it'll just type in all of my words into that document. It's magical. So the reason that this relates to magic is that because I have this really nifty device, I have been able to set up sort of sacred space around writing. So you'll see that my table is set up behind me because I have been regularly like setting up incense, setting up candles, setting up focus ambient music. I've been Palo Santoing this thing before I start to write, getting in the zone, and it's just been like using a special magical oil, pulling out a special sigil, using a particular crystal, and like just kind of making it magic. And yeah, it's been a pretty amazing and cool breakthrough, and this little guy has definitely helped to make it possible. The other thing that has helped to make it possible is this cute little dude. More on this also in another video. I just hit myself in the face with it on camera. That was classy, Lisa. Anyways, this is just a generic traveler's notebook kind of deal. In this, I have one of my crystals. This is the crystal I'm working with my writing. It's Amazonite, but I pulled this out of my crystals, the stone deck. And this just holds a bunch of little notebooks. So I'm using one just for like title brainstorming, any kind of like, I'm going to show you blank pages because book. But I'm using this one for sort of title brainstorming and other sort of rando thoughts. And then I've got like a regular like sort of ruled notebook in it as well. So you just change notebooks. Look at the cute little unicorns. And then this notebook I'm using to track my book outline, my chapter notes, my, what do you call it? Bibliography, all that kind of stuff. Any thoughts I have as I have them throughout the day. So this is traveling with me pretty much everywhere. And then the last one is a monthly calendar. And in this, I have been able to set goals for when I want to finish certain chapters, how many word counts I'm doing every day, all that kind of stuff. And it's been amazing. So I'm kind of excited because I've actually been like, it's flowing now, and I've been waiting for that, and it's amazing. And I could probably talk about it a lot more, but I won't because that will get boring real fast. But let's talk about food. So there are a few things that are favorites this month. First, I'm going to show you this very sad and empty package. So I found these at the grocery store. It's kind of a weird thing. I don't typically like fruit and chocolate except for these. I don't know what it is, but these are Brookside brand dark chocolates, and they have like these fruity centers, and this is a new flavor. So this one's 73% cacao, so it's really dark, and then the filling is a blackberry honey filling, and these are so good. These were so good. Obviously I finished the entire bag. And the other food related things that I want to talk about is that, memory. We're going to insert one now. So for Mother's Day, our boys took us to high tea. I totally finagled that. I really wanted to go to high tea. And we went and had lovely pastries and delicious teas. And the tea that I had was this Buckingham Palace Tea. I don't know why they called it Buckingham Palace Tea, but it is a hybrid of like not an English breakfast. It's a hybrid. I can't even talk. A hybrid of like an Earl Grey tea and a green tea with jasmine, which sounds really strange, but it's so delicious. It's so good. So I took it home with me. This is a 40 tea bag, and there's lots of bags in there, and it's yummy. I also got two other teas, but that's my favorite. And then the other tea that I have been like loving on is this Lipton Serenity. So I actually don't really like the Celestial Seasoning Sleepy Time tea. It's too chamomile-y, but this is cinnamon, chamomile, and lavender, and it is amazing with a little drizzle of honey. So perfect for right before bed, so I have been loving that. So memories, I mentioned the Mom's Day thing. The other memory I wanted to talk about is when my sister was in town, we got to go out to Ethany Dawn's book signing for her recently released Your Tarot Court. You've been seeing this, I'm sure, all over social media. It's for good reason. She did a fantastic job with this book. I haven't put it in my like book section of my favorites because I haven't finished reading it yet. I'm actually only a teensy way in so far because I've been writing and doing other things, but this is the book that I'm currently working on reading, so I'm really excited. She has, if you don't already know, if you have a copy of this book, she has a Facebook group where she's offering some live workshops. I've missed them live, but I can't wait to watch them on replay. I'm really excited. But yeah, this is, even just on flipping through, I'm super excited for the way she's put this together. It's really intelligently done, and it's very, to me, this is, I hope this comes across right, but you know how we all love Kitchen Table Tarot by Melissa Sonova? This is like the court cards, a version of that. I feel like in a way it feels very approachable so far, and it's also kind of fun because when I read it, I totally read it in Ethany's voice, which is super fun. So anyways, that was the other memory, but it was really fun. We went to the book signing, and after that we all had lunch, and it was just a good time. It was a good time. It was a good time with my sister. It was a good time getting to hang out with other people that I've met in and around our local tarot community, so that was also really awesome. What else did I put in memories? Those were the two big ones. Books. Good segue. Books I actually finished this month. So I finished Tarot Elements by Melissa Sonova. Oh, speak of the devil herself. the wonderful, wonderful devil. This was actually not at all what I expected. I'm not really sure what I expected, but it is really wonderful. What it basically is really a tarot for personal development kind of guide. She uses technically 5 readings, including spirit. So an earth, an air, a fire, a water, and a spirit reading. But the readings themselves are actually very simple. It's just basically there's like sort of just a few basic premises. It's like what pulls you forward, what holds you back. Sorry, I just want to make sure I don't get this wrong. And what can you hold on to or something like that? Yeah, what gets in your way, what pulls you forward, and what can you hold on to. But it goes much, much deeper than that, as you can see. It depends what element you're working with and why you're working with that element. There's different cards in different positions, like different numbers of cards in different positions, depending on the element and also depending on the purpose of the reading. But more than that, actually, this reading reads similarly to Kitchen Table Tarot in that very approachable way. But if you want to go to tarot for personal development, personal growth, this gives you that way to work with the tarot for yourself for that purpose, or to work with it with clients for that purpose. Also, I was kind of surprised at first to see that there is a section here from page 179, so this whole back section of the book, so 179 through to 260-ish, is tarot card meanings again. And when I saw this, I was like, oh, cool, she included the kitchen table tarot meanings. No. It's as if she rewrote, well, it is as if she rewrote all the meanings for all of the cards, minors included, with the context of tarot for personal growth, for basically unscrewing up your life. So this is actually really cool, especially if you don't have any other books that have sort of these go-to readings, you know, upright and reversed for the whole tarot as well. Like if you don't already have Kitchen Table Tarot and you want to do tarot for your own personal development, I would totally recommend this. And if you have Kitchen Table Tarot, don't expect it to be the same, because it does go in a different direction in a really cool way. So this was neat. I'm super glad I have it in my collection, and I really, really enjoyed working my way through this. And the other book that I sort of finished this month is the Witch's Book of Self-Care. Now, I realized pretty quickly after the introduction, the first couple chapters, that this really is a book of recipes, activities, spells, and things that you can do to nurture yourself. So meditation incense, crafts. There's a ton of really good stuff in here. Now, I don't typically go to books like this. There's bath oils. I don't typically keep a lot of books in my collection that are spell or recipe based, because I like to do my things on the fly. But I really, really love having one where all of the recipes, spells, and rituals are geared around self-care, because as you all know, this is a topic I'm super passionate about. So having one good go-to in my cabinet to reach for, especially when I'm feeling depleted and I'm not necessarily in a space to think of what I want to do, to be able to kind of like flip through here and pick a bit of an activity that can help is really, really nice. And this does go into why self-care is important, what that looks like, and how it can look different for different people. And there's multiple sections in here that go into different types of self-care. So I'm just going to grab the contents. Yeah, so there's self-care and magic, mental and emotional self-care, physical self-care, spiritual self-care, and household self-care. So it does get into all different areas. It's not just like draw yourself a bubble bath and like check that box off the list. It goes deeper than that. So really, really liked this. Really enjoyed. It's also aesthetically really, really beautiful. So that is fun. And hopefully I'll be able to throw in your tarot card. Your tarot court. I just said your tarot cart. Clearly I need wine. I'm not drinking wine. I'm drinking water. But I feel like I need wine. You're probably watching in the morning like, what is she talking about? But I am recording this at like 9 o'clock at night. So there you go. Next category is decks. So where are the decks? Ah, here we go. So a few decks I wanted to highlight this month that I've worked with. So I worked with like 4 or 5 decks this month. But the first one I want to highlight is, of course, my Game of Thrones tarot. So as I've mentioned earlier, when I was doing the collab with Dani and Dustin, we talked about Game of Thrones. And so I worked with this deck that week. This is such a wonderful deck, and I reviewed it in my weekly deck review, so I will save you all the repeat. But it is a really, really wonderful deck. And I actually mentioned in that weekly deck review that I wasn't sure if it would read well for people who hadn't seen or were familiar with the book series or with the movie, with the TV series. See, I need wine. But I actually got some feedback in the comments on that video that a couple of people do have this deck who have not seen the show, and they found it to be a very readable deck, and they really, really enjoyed it. So that was great feedback for me to have. But I, knowing what I know about the show, love how deep this deck lets me get, and I just thoroughly enjoy working with it every single time I pull it off the shelf. And I can't. It's so good. So this was a favorite for sure this month. It was so much fun to pull it out, particularly with the series coming to an end. It was kind of a little sentimental, I have to say, but I really, really enjoyed that. The other deck, which you will probably know if you've been watching my channel, that really, really surprised me in an amazing way this month was these Heal Yourself reading cards by EDSA. This is a Rockpool Publishing deck. These cards are working their way into becoming a part of my spiritual practice. I've mentioned that. I will probably make an entire video talking about the decks that I use that way and how I use them. But these cards are beautiful. Not necessarily the art style I normally go for, but they are really, really pretty. And mostly they seem to really dive deep into shadow and personal growth work, which is totally my jam. What's really cool about these is the way that the guidebook goes into not only, well, it's beautiful, but it actually gives you activities to do for every single card. And the activities are different based on what aspect you've drawn and are working with. And I feel like it really makes you think about how this particular energy shows up in your life and how to work with it or heal it or make progress on it. And I really love that. That's totally my thing. So that was definitely a favorite. And the last deck I want to talk about before I get into my randoms is the, I was going to hold it to you upside down, the Luminous Void Tarot. I looked at this on video walkthroughs over and over again, and I kept telling myself that deck is creepy. And some of the way that the characters in this deck are depicted does seem a little bit strange. The faces are strange, like this fool. Like, there's something about the face. It's strange. It's strange, and it's got almost like this, like, I want to say this in a way that's not offensive because I actually really like this about this deck, but it's like somebody, it reminds me of the kind of art I might make with finger paints in some of the cards. Like, some of them are like, there's no way I could do that. But like, it's almost like the way soul cards makes me feel. Maybe that's a better analogy. It's like, it's as if the artist got out of her head and into her inner child, into her intuitive space. Like, she channeled these images in a way. They feel very organic and they feel very emotional and non-linear. And the shape of the deck also has that energy to it. There's something about working with this deck that just, it speaks to me. And I'm really, really enjoying it. In fact, I'm hesitant to put it away at the end of this week. This is the deck I'm working with this week. So I've only been, at the time of filming this video, I've only been working with it for a few days. And I'm already just really, really loving it. Loving it. It's beautiful. The only critique, because there are these beautiful, like, matte, like, rose petal feel backs. The only critique I have is that this gold foil, while stunning, has rubbed off on a couple of my cards a little bit. Like, they seem to wipe clean for the most part, but I do sometimes see bits of gold on this side of the cards, probably from shuffling and that sort of thing. But these are really magical and different, and I'm really, really enjoying these. So that is in my favorites as well for decks. So there's a few more things to talk about, and then I want to talk about my card of the month and sort of how I feel about that. So first off, I was sent a couple really lovely gifts this month from my friend Erika. So she sent me this magical oil that is keyed to the element of water. And there's some really lovely goodies in there, and this smells so good. Look how much I've already used up. So what I have been doing with this oil is I've been putting a dropper full, like probably about half a dropper full, in my, you can see it flickering up there. I have a blue, I think they call them 7-day candles, but I don't really burn it for like 7 days straight. But I put about a half a dropper full in that candle before I light it, and I usually refresh it again after I blow it out so that that candle is becoming infused with this oil as I use it. And I've really been enjoying doing that. I love it. It smells so good. I think it's got, I want to say it's got vanilla, and I think it's got vanilla and ylang ylang, and there's something else in there. But she also made me these really, really lovely prayer beads. They have a pentacle charm at one end, and then these little ocean-themed charms at the other. So there's starfish, a little dolphin, and a little seahorse. And these are really lovely, and I have written a very special prayer that I plan to use with these beads. I did have a request to do a video about how I use my prayer beads, and I do plan to talk about that and do that video soon. I'll be talking about how I use something like this mala, how I use this, and then also how I use my other set of prayer beads, my unicorn prayer beads here, which is part of my nighttime spiritual practice. So I will be talking about all of that, but yeah, these are definitely a favorite. Other magic-y stuff that I've shown recently that is totally a favorite. Love my shaker. So I showed this in my, I think it was like a mini haul. After my sister was in town, I got this little guy at Granville Island here in Vancouver at a really cool world music store. Love this. I love the way it sounds. I use it all the time to clear the energy over in my reading sort of magical working space over there. Other favorite are these rope incenses. I've been actually cutting mine in half. So they don't burn for very long, but I light this and then I just set it up in this is also my favorite, this little smudge pot. I got her at Banyan Books here in Vancouver, so I'll light this little incense and just, once it's going, I put it just kind of down, lean it in like that, and it'll just smoke and burn until it's all done. And I've really been enjoying using these particular incenses in this pot when I'm doing my writing. So I'm really, really enjoying that. And my last sort of random favorite, I cannot pull this thing out and not make stupid faces, but this is my ocean drum. I love this thing. Did I just make my dog bark? Maybe. Sorry, Bruno. He's like, Mom's making noise. I love that thing. It's still making noise over here. It makes me so happy. I can't. It's so great. I like to come into my room and just like swish it around a little bit, get that ocean sound going, just get relaxed. It's like an instant soother for me. It is amazing. And you guys, that brings me to that's it for favorites. That's all it. I just want to talk briefly about the card of the month. So when I did my year ahead spread, I did it with the Guardian Tarot. So this is a deck that I use pretty much exclusively for myself. I see this very much as a self-care deck. And my card for the month was Strength. Now, the Guardian Tarot's guidebook messages don't necessarily always align with the Rider-Waite-Smith. And what Strength in this deck says is, Strength has set her roots deeply into the earth while a symbolic portal a symbolic portal trellis arches overhead to connect to the moon to her inner intuition. She stands at the portal ready to assist those who are to step from the mundane, pass through the arch, and on to new adventures and potential with the rising sun. I'm trying to get the glare off. There we go. This card indicates that there's an opportunity opening. You need to take the initiative to act on the opportunity. Without a direct action from you, there can be no change. When I was reviewing this for myself, the only thing that came to mind that this was referring to was the big breakthrough I had with my writing. So those of you who know, I have been on and off working on this book idea for a very, very long time and doing a really beautiful job at procrastinating and doing busy work and not actually just writing it. And I really broke through that this month. I'm feeling really good. I'm in about 7,000 words. That may not seem like a lot, but I've already written like 80,000 words of just random stuff, and some pieces of that will be in this book and some won't, but I'm actually writing like in a linear way now. Like I'm writing chapter intros and then chapter 1 and so forth and so on. I know what the structure is. I have my vision of the overall book when it's finished. I know what it's generally going to look like, and now it's just like getting it out of my head finally and onto the page. And that has been such a huge breakthrough this month, and I'm super pleased that that's happening, and I just, I can't wait to see where it goes from here. So that is it for my monthly favorites. I love watching these videos as well as making them, so I really look forward to seeing yours if you are a content creator. If you are not a content creator, I would love to hear down below, or even if you are and you don't feel like making a video, or you want to share in both places, let me know down below some of your favorite things this month. Favorite decks, books, magic, memories, stones, anything that you want to share. Let's have a conversation. Remember to like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Remember that if you want to book a reading with me, the link to my Etsy shop is always down below, as is Peggy's Etsy shop for all of these beautiful bags. I hope you have a beautiful afternoon or evening wherever you might be, and I will talk to you all again very soon. Bye!